Hello, Sonali. Welcome to Screen Spotlight.
Thank you, Devansh.
Yeah, this is our podcast, and we're here to talk about your podcast. It's Half Ticket, Full Nagrik. Is the podcast you're going to do with small kids,
Yes.
and but you're not treating them as small. They're young, but they're as much citizens as all of us are. So, what? How did the idea behind this podcast? Where did it stem from? How did you think of that?
Devansh, first of all, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. Indian Express, I am family to Indian Express team.
Yeah.
I have been a guest editor on Lok Satta Viva,
I know.
and entire screen team was very close to till we took a break
Yeah.
in screen. So welcome back.
Thank you.
Coming back to Half Ticket Full Nagrik, probably the seeds were there when I started working. When I used to work in variety of films or plays or ad films, because I did n number of ads. I was a rich struggler when I came to Mumbai because 1 day or 2 day shoot used to pay me quite a lot. There used to be kids in the ad films because they always want young mothers. I remember this ad by Candid Creations. Aban Devhans and Kiran Devhans had made it. The beautiful Johnson and Johnson ad. It had kids. I did many ads for kids brands. All these cute babies and kids, they used to come for the shoot. Their parents would take care of them, and then at the end of the shoot, they would say bye bye, didi or auntie, jo bhi hai, and they would go. Even on the film shoots, you spend more time with children, with your co-stars, and you build a rapport. You entertain them through the day. You take care of them if they fall down, if they're hungry, anything. But at the pack-up time, they go home. They're never yours. So for the first ever time in my life, when I became a mother, I felt really nice that there is a child who's never going to say bye-bye, I'm leaving. She will be with me. And as I was growing up with my daughter Kaveri, I started realizing that there are many things in life. For example, simple example is I didn't know there are so many kids clothes shops in Mumbai. I wasn't even aware कि इस रोड पे मेन रोड पे इतने बच्चों के दुकान हैं जहाँ पे कपड़े मिलते हैं, खिलौने मिलते हैं. कभी ध्यान ही नहीं किया. It speaks much louder because many people don't even pay attention to kids. Not their goods, but kids. And I started realizing it pretty loudly as I was growing up with Kaveri. She started speaking, she started expressing. And I was talking to lot many co-parents. I'm not complaining, but I always feel that we pay a lot of attention to young mothers, and we talk about them कि उन्हें they can't rest enough, they are so tired, they don't have enough help. But what about the reason why they have become mother? The kids are always put on second priority, or they are never a priority when it comes to counting the heads in the society. We feel that उन्हें क्या पूछना है? And you will be surprised when you see my guests on the show. They have opinions about so many things. The way they speak, with the way they express. They only want a little bit of attention. Forget about respect. They probably are growing up with understanding that nobody is going to respect me. They are going to say, "Chup baitho." So we didn't bring kids in the world to make them quiet, na?
But how do you, when you interact with these kids, when you interact with your daughter, how different do you think they are from when you were a kid? Do you see a very drastic difference?
What a lovely question. It has set me thinking, but what I feel is today's kids have a lot of imagination and vision. Probably as a kid, I didn't have any vision. I just wanted to go in the next grade, or I wanted to be a good girl. I wanted to be a obedient person. कि teachers भी बोलेंगे you are a good girl. I would help my mom, relatives. I would work hard to earn that compliment that you are such a good girl. And today's kids are slightly fearless than that, but at the same time I feel they're scared, and we have to tap on that fear. What are they scared of? What is that unspoken threat that they have? At times parents are, every adult is not a villain, but some parents have courage to speak to their children about insecurities in the society. But many parents don't. But kids can feel that tension, and they try to sense that. They try to read the room every time they are at a new place. And somewhere I feel that break free. You don't deserve this fear. I was such a relaxed child. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या होगा, आई डांटेगी या बाबा बोलेंगे क्या यार इतने कम मार्क्स लाए हो. उससे अलग कोई डर नहीं था, बिकॉज आई विल गिव दैट क्रेडिट टू माई मदर, बिकॉज शी वॉज वेरी मोर देन स्ट्रॉन्ग. शी टोल्ड मी ऑन माई फेस दैट बच के रहना, दिस अंकल इज नॉट नोन फॉर बीइंग अ गुड मैन. शी हैड करेज टू से दैट टू मी, एंड आई फेल्ट सो नाइस दैट अगर कुछ हुआ तो आई कैन टेल माई मदर. But all the adults are trying to have some overcoat of being gentle and sophisticated, in which we are forgetting to warn our children and help them understand that some people, everybody is not good and everybody is not bad. You have to be a good person and sensible person to read this. So somewhere I feel that we have to fear के balloon को एक लगाना चाहिए pin.
Which reminds me that you were very young when you started acting also, whether it was on stage with Satyadev Dubey.
Yes.
And your first film was directed by Girish Karnad. So how did you find like a safe space in them? How were they as mentors to you?
What a lovely question, Devansh. I want to write an article about these father figures in my life. In fact, I want to juxtapose in the sense how my father has accepted all these father figures. Because his own daughter had these people who were legends, who were holding torchlight for me. Dubey ji, of course, none of my interview, at least with in regards to my work, will be complete without mentioning Dubey ji or Girish uncle. He was my friend, philosopher and guide. He was the first person who told me that audience would like to hear a story, not your story. Audience wants to know the story of the character. Don't come back and tell the audience कि अरे आपने मेरा नाटक देखा, आपको अच्छा लगा, लेकिन कल का शो बहुत अच्छा था. Don't disappoint them. Don't tell your film audience कि you know what, I faced such bad childhood and so many hardships. Don't tell them. They want to believe the character that they saw on the silver screen. Tell us stories. While entertaining, don't come back with handicaps of your own stories. And it took me some time to understand what he's trying to say. And that is why I am away from news about my ill health, my pets, or theft. I feel that let the work talk. It's so nice when writers are thinking of me, directors want to direct me, producer is willing to pay me money for me to entertain the audience. So when Dubey ji told me that your life is different and what you are going to portray and perform is going to be totally different, and that itself made me secure in my life, that I have to deal with my own emotions. be it lack of money in the childhood or not having any so-called gharana or father figure in the industry.
Yeah.
So he really, really helped me. I had no one when I entered the industry. I didn't know anyone. Uh, I didn't even know there are khandans. I was a very happy struggler. I mean, imagine meeting Ritik as a struggler in Mission Kashmir when I was a struggler myself. I have developed a very healthy reciprocation with my co-actors, where both of us thrive on performing well rather than knowing each other well. You can definitely extend a, not necessarily sympathy, but empathy if an actor is unwell and still he or she is willing to perform today's sequence. But that shouldn't be the reason that the co-actor is performing a little average. You have to pump your co-stars. You have to be the energy on the set. I believe in that, and I feel I am the secured place than anybody else on the sets.
Yeah. I was thinking that, of course, you said that you don't talk about your struggles, but I was reading an interview of yours where you said that when you went to audition for Chiruvi, your first film, there was some other actress's mom who who commented on your skin color and said that, what are you
True.
doing here? But you found immediate solace in how Girish Karnad treated you as an adult, as a fellow actor.
Yeah.
So, what did you feel like in that moment, and how did you kind of bounce back from that?
I'm very happy that I'm able to heal these scars. I'm not still carrying them with me.
Yeah.
I can look at them with a detached manner. But back then, when I was a child myself, I belong to a very humble background where I had a third-hand cycle. I had cycled to the audition to meet Girish Karnad. I had only one Punjabi suit, which was bought by my brother as Bhai Dooj ka gift from his scholarship money at IIT Kanpur. That was the only Punjabi suit I had, and I had gone there with excitement because as a young person, you're not, I mean, back then I wasn't as ambitious or sure about what I want to do in life, but we were getting to meet Girish Karnad, jinka naam humne suna tha. I was all excited. And this lady, as you correctly mentioned, opened her mouth and said something really nasty about my presence and my looks. She had no business to do that, even though her daughters they are beautiful. They're genuinely beautiful. But as an adult, why do you choose to break somebody else's heart just for your kid to shine better in the world? She did that. And I felt you need guts to do such things. It taught me something as an adult I shouldn't be doing. I take them as learnings which have helped me to be a better human being. I don't want to tell somebody else that why are you participating in running? You're not tall. You can't run. You can't stand properly. Why to demoralize someone like this so vehemently? Just for one opportunity. And that opportunity you are going to find anywhere in the world. If I didn't get that film, I would have gotten some other play or some other opportunity, or I would have created something. We have to have this assurance and confidence. But when I was young, I felt embarrassed. I realized it was much louder than her comment because I felt that she's commenting on our economic strata also because I had no money. Her daughters had two-wheelers, good watches. They had gold finger ring and gold earrings. I had nothing of that. But the dignity or the manner in which Girish uncle met us all. It told us nothing matters. Your willingness to work, your willingness to connect, your willingness to tell a story is the only thing that will matter. He was talking to all the girls who were present there with equal amount of patience and grace. When my turn came, he asked me, "What are you doing?" And till then, I was behaving like a spot person. I was collecting dishes, giving pohe, chai to everyone, collecting khali cup and saucers. He shifted my being when he spoke to me. He didn't treat me as a girl who was helping.
Yeah.
He treated me as a girl who had come to meet him, a young person, young actor. And he said, "Which play are you doing?" I mentioned about a play. And I said, "Apule Maran" by Aarti Prabhu and Khanul. He said, "Oh, of course I know him. I had done Ek Shunya Bajirao." I mean, a legend like Girish Karnad coming to your level and talking to you as if you are a important person. I had spent about 2 minutes with him, but it built my life.
Yeah.
And that is what I am hoping that a podcast like Half Ticket Full Nagrik will provide viewers and my guests. One moment is enough. I'm spending enough minutes with them from the time they start traveling from their destination to come to my podcast, the way my team treats them. I'm not saying that they are treated like a celebrity or they are treated like the superstar. That's not the case, but they are given attention, they are heard. That's all matters.
They're treated like an equal.
Absolutely.
And you said that you've had these legends and come down to your level and talk to you like an adult. I also read something about how you got your first Tamil film, and it was through a recommendation from Mani Ratnam or
Yes.
a suggestion from Mani Ratnam.
Yes.
But can you tell us about that? How did that happen?
At times you feel that, I feel I am, I'm seeing the dream come true. This is a fairy tale for me. But my first film, Cheluvi, by Girish Karnad, was screened at the Cannes International Film Festival. I didn't know back then how big it is. Neither was I invited, but Girish uncle had gone there to represent India and to represent our film. My film was watched by many people. It was also selected for the IFFI was called something else then, but Indian International Film Festival. Dr. Jabbar Patel watched it, Mani Ratnam sir watched it, Sumitra Bhave, Sunil Suktankar, Amol Palekar, many people watched Cheluvi.
All of them who you work with later.
Exactly. So that one film gave me many other films. Mani sir saw Cheluvi and he felt like recommending my name to Balu Krishnamurthy, who was going to be a director soon, and he was looking for a fresh face. And then I had gone to Madras then for an audition, and my audition was canned by none other than P.C. Sriram sir. And later I got to know that Mani sir had recommended me, and then you are in that josh where you want to do the best. I want to make this scene work or happen. I want to cry well, I want to be angry very well, I want to look good.
You never ended up working with Mani Ratnam?
Never. I met him a few times, but never got any opportunity to work with him so far. You never know.
Yeah, I hope that happens. I was looking at your early career, and I think in the first 10 years of your career, which was across languages, Hindi, Tamil, Marathi, of course, it was almost every other year that your film was winning a national award. You were part of such critically acclaimed movies. but you won a national award for a short film that you did
Yes.
about 10 years into your career. It was like a college student's short film, if
Right.
I'm not wrong, in Marathi. So, were you ever hopeful that my films are getting recognition, but I am not getting the recognition?
Devansh, thank you so much for knowing all the facts about my journey so far. Yes, more than hopeful, I was angry and jealous. I was jealous of everyone who were winning awards and who were. I mean, Nandita got to work with Mani sir.
Hmm.
Tabu won the national award.
Yeah.
So I used to feel very angry that why am I not getting any national award? And I was so angry and jealous of Tabu that I finally went and saw Machis.
Ah.
Because every year my films were considered at
Yeah.
the best chosen films in the national award final rounds.
Hmm.
But year after year, I was getting disappointed. And that was the time when I really wanted national award. I was nominated for Filmfare, I was nominated for IFA, but I didn't win any award. I was winning others, but जो मिलता नहीं है वही आपको चाहिए होता है. तो when Tabu won the national award for Machis,
Yeah.
one of my film called Daira, The Square Circle by Amol Palekar
Yeah.
was in the competition. And I felt, probably she knows, she's from the industry, na? That was a very famous line. And when I watched Machis, when I watched her films, it helped me deal with the insecurities or the desperation that I had. I so wanted that national award, but I didn't get, and somebody else got. Her performance was the key, which told me that this is a. It was so sleek. It was. It calmed me down. I mean, somebody's performance not only does give you joy, but has command to help you come to terms with your own life, your abilities. And when I watched many films of Tabu, be it Machis, Astitva, I'm forgetting one film, Chandani Bar. I fell in love with her. Every time I saw her perform, I kept falling in love with her. And I got rid of that want. And I realized that there are so many unique things happening in my life. There is a long way to go, and I realized your directors also help you. That I keep saying that in the beginning of the career, you want to perform all the emotions with intensity. You don't know what is subtlety. It's now that I am understanding what is it to be subtle. What is the difference between theatre, acting, and films? So, I have no complaints right now. I have come to terms with myself more than anything else. And yes, now let us see. I am hopeful that I will get better and better projects, and they will help me portray some interesting people.
You and Tabu is another combination I'm manifesting. Hope you guys work together sometime soon.
Thank you, Devansh. Really hope so. Tabu and Ash got to work together in Kannakondan Kannakondan.
Yeah.
What a film, and lovely songs and fabulous performances. So yes, let us manifest.
And you mentioned Daira. I saw it much later, and then I realized that it never released in theaters.
Yeah.
And it was such a jolt to even my sensibilities, because before that or even after that, I hadn't seen anything like that. We just, for I think the audience who don't know, it had you and Nirmal Pandey. It was directed by Amol Palekar, and completely switched the concept of gender and sexuality on its head. So I got a lot of critical acclaim also. But were you disappointed that a lot of people could not watch that movie?
100%. There are some movies which are ahead of times. And I'm fortunate that I could be a part of those films. But disappointed that audience could not watch
Yeah.
it. I had friends back in Pune who kept asking ki, "Arey, you worked in a Tamil movie. When can we see it? Oh, you won international award for some. When can we watch it?" And I had no answer. So my career has started, and the kind of films that I did, they in a way, few of them were ahead of times, because today we have the digital kranti, and we can watch any film on OTT, and I get to see so many reels about my films which didn't get a proper release back then. Even Daira, people
Yeah.
keep writing about Daira now. I felt bad that it didn't get released. It had such a wonderful team: Amol Da, Chitra Palekar, Devu Devdhar, Gulzar Sahib. Uh, Beautiful music. Uh,
Well,
I
Anand Milan.
Yes, I miss Nirmal. Wish he was there now to understand how people are appreciating his work.
Yeah.
Uh, it felt bad, but it helped me understand the limitation of an actor. That you are an actor, not a distributor, not a producer, not a marketing manager. So all you can do is to do your job with immense sincerity and passion. That's about it. You never know. Karm karte raho, ma phaleshu kadachana.
And then you switched to mainstream Hindi cinema in 2000. How did you get Mission Kashmir? How did that fall in your lap?
I think I'm lucky and I am the chosen one. Many actors rejected Mission Kashmir.
Okay,
That is how it came to me.
that is strange.
I am ever grateful to all the actors who felt like not doing that particular project which has landed in my my fate. But Vidhu Vinod Chopra was very clear when I went for the audition. He said, "Kafi logon ne na bula." He told me the names.
That's-
Then he had decided ki let us go ahead with a lesser known, fresher face. Then he took my audition, and I was offered Mission Kashmir. Again, stunning team, stellar cast. Writers were Abhijat, Anurag, Vinod,
Yeah.
and music by Shankar Ehsaan Loy, Vinod Pradhan. What else can you ask for? You were getting to go to Kashmir,
Yeah.
and my films have helped me grow. So I started working when I was in college, but Dr. Jabbar Patel's films, they helped me understand the society, socio-political scenario of our country. Similarly, Sumitra Bhave's films, they have a strong statement about people and emotions. Amol Da gave me Daira, which helped me understand what is being a woman, what is being a man. These films helped me, and Mission Kashmir helped me understand patriotism. It helped me understand our country. I went to Kashmir. I didn't know people cannot come out of their house. I belong to Pune.
Yeah.
And then I settled in Mumbai, and we are the freedom. We can do what we want. We spend the money the way we want. We go wherever we want to go. We live wherever we want to live. But lifestyle in Srinagar back then was different.
Yeah.
And you are, as an actor, you are not necessarily observing someone's mannerisms, but you are also sensing the atmosphere. And my films were going for international festivals, and I realized that everything together is making me more and more Indian. I am becoming a proud Indian all over again with each film.
Has Vinod Chopra ever told you what he saw in that audition, why he picked you for the role? Was it because you were so, aware socio-politically?
I doubt we hardly knew each other. I mean, it was much later that I told him that I had loved Khamosh and 1942, A Love Story, and Parinda, of course. Probably he felt that he will be able to direct me and the face or the appearance suits the character. Because I was playing Nilima Khan, who was supposed to be uh, this stranded child's mother. She loses her own child and adopts another child without knowing his religion, which was a very deeper statement. And I'm getting goosebumps remembering a sequence we were shooting. There is a song called Soja Chanda Raja Soja, where I'm putting little Ritik to sleep. And while doing the rehearsal, I moved both my hands, and in the take, I moved only one hand. And Vinod said, "Don't. I'm missing the second hand. Bring it in. That child needs the affection. He's lost his family." It was so nice. It came naturally, and do that. So, I mean, why can't we offer affection without boundaries or without deciding give and take terms?
Yeah.
The exchange has to be as fluid. Beautiful.
On a lighter note, Hrithik wasn't Hrithik Roshan then when you worked with him. Kaho Na Pyar hadn't released.
Correct.
I think he had shot for it, but it hadn't released.
Correct.
And I read somewhere or somebody told me that because people didn't know him, and because he played a Kashmiri militant, somebody thought that he's actually one on the set. But once it's released, when you were working with him, did you think that he is made for, the skies like he is even till today?
I really liked the way he met me. He was so light, absolutely nonchalant and hungry to work well. He was there for my audition, and we were told to perform a scene together. And we wished each other all the best. Acha karna. And then we started shooting for Mission Kashmir. We went to Srinagar. Everything was going well. I remember distinctly, I was coming back from an event, MTV or Channel V event in town. And while coming back on Queen's Necklace, I saw a humongous poster of Hrithik on Marine Drive. And I was like, I work with him and he's so good looking. I never realized. And cut to, we had a sequence in Mumbai, jahan pe I can't tell you the crowd which had come to see Hrithik. And we had bouncers and security for him. So it was out of proportion, out of imagination. I was at IFA for Mission Kashmir. I was nominated at Sun City, South Africa. I remember there was a riot almost at a restaurant where Roshan family was having meal and people just wanted to catch a glimpse of Hrithik. But while performing, he was as naive as how an actor should be. He was a director's actor.
Because of his father also.
True.
And I think he worked as an AD with his father
On a
for
variety
years.
of films, yes.
And right after that came Dil Chahta Hai, another landmark movie of yours. And I just want to know, firstly, that when you were doing that film, did you feel a little out of place? Because it was such a new cinematic language. Of course, a new team and everything, which happens on every project, but a new cinematic language. Then working with Saif Ali Khan, who was also experimenting. Then I think with that film, he came to me as a metrosexual
True.
man. That was his first. People remember like Kal Ho Na Ho and those, but that was the OG.
Correct.
So how were you on that set? And you also did a song that we all love till today. And it was choreographed by Farah Khan. So how just that entering that world, how was that for you?
I think people mattered quite a lot on Dil Chahta Hai set. I slowly got to meet the team. I interacted with Zoya first because she had seen one of my photos somewhere and she kept fighting with the person who was showing the photo. This is not Sonali. I have seen her art house cinema and she doesn't look like this. And it was a typical photo session. So you have 3-4 looks and you are trying to showcase your personality. And she connected with me and she said, come, we want to audition you for Dil Chahta Hai.
She was also casting for them.
She was casting director of Dil Chahta Hai. I had gone to Excel's first office on Guru Gangeshwar Marg in Bandra. And we laughed so much while canning the audition.
Okay.
We improvised because Zoya was giving me the cues. And I loved the vibe. I'm from a small town because Pune was not as modern back then. And I belong to a simple family. So I don't know fashion. I didn't know fashion. I didn't know luxury and variety of things which come along with it. But Zoya was the key person which let me in Dil Chahta Hai. And she doesn't come across as the super stylish, fashionable, rich person. She's very passionate, she's very grounded, and she loves cinema. She loves performance. That is something that has stayed with me till date. And after which I met Farhan, of course, Ritesh. What I remember about them is their friendship. They are genuine friends who don't talk about how thick friends they are. They are friends. Then they got in Ravi K. Chandran and Saif, Amir, Akshay, Preeti. I was overjoyed that I was working with Preeti all over again after Mission Kashmir. And we cheered each other. Mobiles had come to India, so there was a new rule on the set. I must tell you why I was comfortable, because I love discipline. I like when there is a plan of action, when there is a routine. Dil Chahta Hai was the first film in my life where we saw, if it was a 9 o'clock shift, the shot used to roll by 9. And we were given earlier call times like 8 to 8:30 makeup, 8:30 to whatever, 15 minutes for hair, 10 minutes for costumes, and 5 minutes for the actor to walk on the sets. I later got to know it was Reema, it was Apurva Lakhia who were into call sheet making and all. But it was such a welcome change. It was, nothing was taken for granted. Everything was designed properly, and so was fun. We were supposed to have a lot of fun while shooting. There was not a single day which was tense or where somebody's angry, somebody's not in mood. There were hardly any fights or anything on the set. Arjun Bhasin, I must mention, he helped me understand, my very warm person.
The costume design.
Exactly. Arjun actually held my hand, helped me wear all those clothes. Odhena colored my hair. And Avan. So it was very good hand holding. They never treated me like a rustic fool. They saw Pooja in me and they treated me like Pooja. So they made me comfortable. Incredible team. I'm ever grateful, of course, for the success that the film earned later, but for the treatment and affection I got on the set.
Again, has Zoya told you what she saw in you that others did not?
Not really, but I remember Farah or Zoya, ROFTL, rolling on the floor laughing when we were doing that Buffon wala sequence, and when I was doing those steps, and there is a sequence where I'm sitting on the bonnet and Saif and I,
he's driving.
मतलब that look is wrong. वो पुरानी फिल्मों जैसा कि आप प्रोफाइल में कहीं देख रहे हो when the person is not there and you're giving some expressions. So I remember the way they were laughing, and I think I was eager to receive those compliments, and I did get.
Zoya and you is another combination I'm
You said it,
manifesting.
Devansh. Absolutely. I love her storytelling. I love her production. I'm hopeful and manifesting that I'll get to work with Zoya sometime soon.
How was it working with dancing with Saif? How is he as a scene partner?
I want to work with Saif again. Uh, the other day, I don't know who mentioned, but I'm one of those rarest actors who got to work with Sharmila ji and Saif. तो अब मुझे लगता है सारा ही बाकी है. But now I want to work with Saif again because, as you correctly mentioned, Dil Chahta Hai was the beginning of Saif's coming to himself phase. So I enjoy the way he works, develops a scene, and off late the performances that we got to see. I remember him as a very caring co-star, relaxed. He would carry his own music on the set, something that I learned from him. And for years, I carried my music. Now we all have our phones and small speakers, and we can play what we want. But Saif used to carry a handy music player and his CDs and cassettes. He would change the vibration in the room. I never felt he is पतौड़ी साहब, शर्मिला जी, उनके बेटे, किसी के बारे में भी नहीं लगा है. Because you know, when it comes to performing a new scene, nobody tells you how big a star I am. Everybody wants to make the scene work, and Saif was brilliant. I mean, he was open, relaxed, calm, and energetic. Superb combination.
I still can't get wo ladki hai kahan out of my head. But since you did these movies and the way you started your journey in Hindi cinema, you continue to do lead roles in Marathi cinema. But say if you started like Pyar Tune Kya Kiya with Urmila and Fardeen, do you ever think that you did not get the lead parts that you maybe wanted or deserved in Hindi cinema?
I would like to put this statement in a different manner.
Yeah.
I was getting what I was wishing for.
Okay.
And I had no advisor or a queen maker in my life. I got some beautiful people in my life. Dubeji told me how I could improve as an actor, but he was not the key for me to enter film industry as such. Later on, I mean, of course, Chelluvi was the first film that I worked on, and we all were there at the audition because of Dubeji, because we were in the Dubeji's workshop. But later on, I didn't have a guiding force to navigate my career. I chose probably wrong people, as there were no agencies. They were secretaries, then they were managers. So I signed some silly films which never released. But I learned a lot. I could deal with disillusion, disappointment. Only thing which helped me come till here is working continuously. I kept working because I felt that my judgments went wrong. Money didn't come in, films didn't get released. And it wasn't something called industry which didn't understand my worth. It was me who didn't know how to sail through. Now I know. And now I'm very happy the kind of projects I am doing. Here I am doing Madhur Bhandarkar's film called The Wives, Paradise. At the same time, the amount of wealth I have earned, I am able to produce a play called Mad Sakharam, which is written by Pula Deshpande, which is a compliment to Vijay Tendulkar's Sakharam Bander, which I've done. So these coincidences mean a lot to me, and if I'm able to make them work right now, I don't think I should blame that phase which went wrong and which didn't know the direction at all.
But I have to disagree with you on one thing. That I don't think you were saying that it had more to do with you, but I don't think at that time Hindi cinema knew what to do with actors like you. Maybe they weren't too aware of your work in other industries. Maybe they just didn't know because maybe it didn't fit into their stereotype or whatever. Because I think I've heard similar complaints from Shefa Ali Shah, who's also such a brilliant actor.
Yeah.
And she said that, I struggled at that time because, again, I could only do whatever came to me, and whatever was coming to me was things I didn't want to do. And even when she did Waqt, where she played Akshay
Amit
Kumar's
Ji's wife.
yeah, Amit Ji's wife and Akshay Kumar's mom.
Yeah.
And then she said that I did it as an actor, purely as an actor, but it kind of backfired, and I was only getting those roles. I have to ask you, because I am a huge fan. Did you also have the same fate when you did Bharat with Salman Khan, where he played your son? I mean, for God's sake, he's elder than you. But I know that when the movie started and you played that kid's mom, I got it. But when he grew up, and it was very odd for me to see it like that. What were you feeling at that time?
I agree with the discomfort you may have felt watching the film, but while casting, I said I can't be playing this role.
Yeah.
But the director and casting directors, very sure they were about having the flashback. Flashback meant everything to that film.
Yeah.
That is how Bharat gets his name. That is how he reacts to situations. So it took a lot of convincing and temptation from my end to meet Salman, because I had heard a lot about him. We bonded very well on the sets of Bharat. Something that one can learn from him is to treat people well. He was ever gracious, and he scored the point when he gave me his cycle to ride.
Okay.
So we had a lot of fun, and the project paid me very well. And I looked at it as a challenge because Mukesh Chhabra and Ali Abbas, they both were very sure, because no director or casting director would like to fit in a wrong person somewhere. That would be a failure on their part also. So I tried to understand that, and I had maximum scenes with younger, the child, and a very few with elder Bharat. But I got to see Katrina dance live. Oh God, she's such a graceful dancer, and she's so beautiful. And we had gala times on the set, so no complaints from my end.
Yeah. No, the discomfort I felt then maybe got resolved in a very unexpected way years later when I saw, if you've seen Lal Singh Chadda.
Oh yes.
So Mona Singh plays Amir's mom, and when I asked her, when I got to speak to her, and she said that to me it was always playing Lal's mother, not Amir's mother.
Correct.
And then I thought
Well
it is the character, and it was such a great character, and I wouldn't blame any actor for missing it. But a film of yours that, especially in Hindi cinema, that your performance that I really enjoyed was Taxi Number 911, where you worked with Nana Patekar, and who was his character was such a hopeless
nonsense
guy.
Completely.
And I so wish throughout the film that you just leave this guy. You're not worth it at all. But you made me realize, or maybe challenge my own misconceptions or biases, and say that no, this is not a woman who quits, and this is a woman who will hold on to relationships, and make them improve, which you did at the end of the film. And you worked with him in a Marathi film also.
Yes.
Just how was that experience of working with Nana? Because I think he can also be a very unpredictable actor to work with.
That was my first film with
Yeah.
Nana sir. So everybody had a different agenda when I did Taxi Number 911. Somebody else wanted to play my role.
No.
There were actresses who were telling the producer, the director, the stars, but I landed up that role. And I was a little scared, and I had never worked with Nana sir before that. And the day one, they were shooting already, Nana sir and John, and I was called for a look test.
Okay.
So I wore the costume and I was stepping out of the van. And Nana sir came and he was probably going to his vanity. And he looked at me and he generally said, "Makeup utar, itna makeup nahi chalega." And I suddenly said, "मैंने makeup किया भी नहीं है sir." So then my hairdresser said, "किसको जवाब दे रही है? Take it easy." But it somehow set the tone.
Which is exactly the tone that you both of you shared in the movie.
है ना? तो मैंने बोल दिया ऐसे ही impromptu. And then it was a very nice nook joke throughout the film. Then I got to work with him on Prakash Baba Amte. Then I got to work with him on a film called Deul by Umesh Kulkarni and in Prakash Baba Amte. So I got a very nice screen time to understand this person and this actor who's so naive, who only wants thoda sa pyar and ek chocolate. If you give a good shot, that is his chocolate. He thrives on co-actors' good performance. A very performance-hungry actor. He told me his journey and I quite agree with him. He believed that he had no looks, nothing he had. No glamour he had, but to stand in the industry, he had no other way but to perform well. So, his struggle is his struggle, but I enjoyed all three films because our chemistry or give and take was totally different in each film. In Deul, it is hilarious because in front of people, I am like a decent wife, and in person, I am like, "Tu kaun hai re?" It's quite cute. And Prakash Amte was extremely emotional and very difficult. In difficult setup also. We were shooting in Hemal Kasa, and to portray living legends like Mandakini Amte and Prakash Amte was difficult.
You worked in a range of languages, in Hindi, Marathi, Tamil. You're doing a Telugu film now, The Paradise with Nani, and you've done Gujarati, even an Italian movie.
Yes.
Yeah. And even English, which reminds me of Bride and Prejudice.
Yes.
How did Gurinder Chadda cast you there, and what was your experience working with Aishwarya Rai?
I think I got all my work by auditions. They saw me, they gave me the scene, and it worked for them probably. Gurinder was fabulous. A very tough shoot with half of the Indian cast and crew, half of English, some from Australia, some from US. To make it work in London but I enjoyed my time. It was a paid scholarship for me. I was playing a guest appearance, Chandra, and I was playing Aishwarya's best friend. And I got to see the warmest, most beautiful side of Aishwarya. We shared some really special moments. all the girls threw a party on my last day of the shoot, and I requested everyone that we should share the bill. And Ash was surprised. She said, usually people ask me for a treat. And I said, I mean, getting to work with you is a treat. So what else can I ask for? So we all contributed and had a lovely dinner. And shooting with her, I realized she was the first megastar whom I saw working so hard. Every weekend we had a holiday, and not a single weekend she spent resting. Either she would go to India, she would be flying off to US, to LA, because she was tying up with agents there. But she was working so hard. And I would feel for her that such a hardworking person she is. And here, when she was back, we had dance rehearsals, we had dialogue rehearsals, this, that, shoots. She was managing it very well. And it takes a lot to be there on that position. You have your own discomforts and pain, but you can't tell. She worked really hard, and she's a beautiful girl.
Again, such fun songs. Last year, I met Gurinder and for an interview, and she told me, you have no idea how many girls, young girls across the world, irrespective of their nationality, American, British, come up to me and say that this is our pajama party movie.
Absolutely.
So it's just the reach that that movie has even today. I want to talk about one more movie, which not a lot of people know about, surprisingly. It was on the life of Dr. Ambedkar that you did. Where Mammootty played Dr. Ambedkar. When you were approached that film, were you surprised that Mammootty is playing Ambedkar? Because they did look quite similar in the movie. That he is a Malayali playing a Maharashtrian, and such a Maharashtrian legend.
Absolutely. I want to begin this answer with the fact that Mammootty sir won the national award as the best actor. I was in the process when Mammootty sir was getting cast, when Ramabai was getting cast. I remember the team. I would go to Nehru Center, where Dr. Ambedkar Films office was there, right opposite NFDC. Dr. Jabbar Patel had created not an office but a library. I remember books and books. And on the upper floor, there was a small studio where they had taken my audition. They had already auditioned some known actors. But I remember on the day I went for the audition, Mohan Gokhale sir was there. He had auditioned for Gandhiji. And most importantly, along with Ashok Mehta and Jabbar Patel, Vikram Gaikwad was there. We lost Vikram sir last year, but what a talented artist. I can't tell you the touches he gave me while shooting and even at the audition. They wanted a face which looked gullible, which looked poor, which looked non-specific. A face
that can blend anywhere.
Exactly. I mean, that face needn't talk beauty, class, or probably any particular caste. She just had to be a aam chehra. And Vikram sir did nothing. He just... I was young, I had sharp face cut probably. He did little bit of nose cutting. And later I realized, even in the shoot, he would increase my parting just to show I had lesser hair. Because Ramabai struggled, had ill health. She went through a lot of physical obstacles, operations, miscarriages, and they never had money. So Vikram sir was the key person when my casting was done. Mammootty sir's casting I couldn't believe, because Dr. Jabbar Patel has this knack of telling you, ki, do you know who I'm casting? Come, I'll show you. And that time, seeing a face on computer, then you key in some buttons and suddenly that person has gray hair, suddenly that person has longer hair, was a new thing. But Dr. Patel showed us the thing, and then he revealed that Mammootty sir is going to play, and I was like, how? But he's from Malayalam industry and pata nahi kaise, but I till date remember the scene where Dr. Ambedkar is told that Gandhiji is no more, and the way Mammootty sir has performed, he deserves national award every year. I feel I love him, and there are these actors, like we hear about Kurosawa, that he works with the same team of a bunch of actors, and they grow together. वैसे मुझे लगता है कि I want to work with all these people because I have earned some experience. I'm refining myself. I'm such an enriched person and actor today. I want to revisit these actors and work with them again.
Yeah, there's a crazy story when you were said that when you were talking about the casting process. I don't know if you know and if you will be able to verify, but I don't know who else to ask. That Dr. Patel went up to Robert De Niro to cast him as Dr. Ambedkar. Is that true?
Very true.
Wow.
He has gone to all possible people,
Yeah.
and
De Niro wanted to do that role.
Yes.
Also. Yeah.
Dr. Patel is extremely passionate, and he can go to any length to make his dream come true.
Yeah.
So he had approached so many people, so many national, international, regional stars, not known actors, actors from theatre, arm people. He had approached so many people.
I really like how he never compromised on what he wanted also.
Yeah.
That he wanted that authenticity. Although they were, I think, mounting it on the same scale as Gandhi was. But he was like, Ben Kingsley played Gandhi, but I think his casting fell out because he did not want to, he could not do that accent. De Niro could not crack that accent of British Indian accent, is
Could
what
be.
I read.
Could be, but all I know is after doing all the rounds and rounds, Mammootty sir fitted the game.
I think you were one of the few actors who have worked with him despite not doing a Malayalam film.
True! Till date, I never got to work in Malayalam at all.
Manifesting that for you as well.
Thank you.
Now that you have done a lot, what do you think is next for you? What is next left on the bucket list that you want to tick?
There are many directors with whom I want to work. I'm getting hungrier as an actor. There is no saturation till date. I would have imagined probably after a few years I'll feel good about myself. I feel good about myself, but at the same time, dreams are getting bigger. Understanding of life is making me more and more humble. And I never thought a project like my podcast will happen. But I'm very happy I could make it happen in a podcast manner, because I could have written articles, which I have. I have spoken in various events wherever I got a chance, but those are slightly lost efforts because people who are present will listen to you. And maybe they will remember and they will act upon that. But this podcast is going to stay with us forever. And I like the beauty of being an actor where you can use your glamour for a better purpose, which I'm fascinated about. And I can't wait for more episodes and more stars who are going to be my guests. And of course, the real stars with whom I am going to work with.
Looking forward to more episodes, to the vibes, to the paradise. and everything you do across languages, across barriers.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
so
Devansh.
much.
Lovely talking to you.
Same. Thank you.